Welcome to the course of Design of Machine Elements 1. In today's session, a discussion on the failure in rivets will be taken in care. So, we know the rivets are a permanent temporary joining or fastening system what we use within a boiler shell or to form a cylinder. So, if I say in a rivet, a failure in rivet joint, I would have categorized that into three. One is the tearing of plates at edge, crushing of rivet, and shearing of rivets. Let's try to understand each and every one of it very clearly. So, in first, tearing of plate at edge or tearing of plate across the rows of a rivet. So, this joint may fail due to the tearing of a plate at the edge. Kindly do take care that this would happen only if you had a tearing of plate at an edge, and this can be surely avoided by keeping the margin m is equal to 1.5 d, where d is equal to diameter of a rivet hole. To do kindly keep over concentrated over this d, small d represents a diameter of a rivet hole. I do repeat, it's a diameter of a rivet hole. So with this sketch would reflect the failure. As you could see here, I had a tensile a pullover at the cross, and we do have a bottom plate at this and top plate over here. And in one pitch P, I do have two rivets, half of a rivet over in this pitch, in the length of this pitch, and half of it over here. So this would happen when you have a tearing across this. You can see over here a tearing to the plates. So this happens. This is a value what you call a tearing of plate, and this can be avoided surely by increasing or by taking over this condition where m is equal to 1.5 d. So next would be crushing of rivets. Yeah, sometimes the rivets does not shear off under the tensile stress but are crushed because of the ovality in the rivet hole. So if you could see the sketch, you can surely make out a mark over here that we do have a ovality in this rivet hole. So if this failure happens, then we call it as a crushing of rivets, and this may even loosen the joint. So next would be the shearing of a rivet. So very important concern while designing a rivet section. Here we always take care of how do the rivet undergo a shear. If the rivet undergo a single shear, I would call it as an N1, and in a similar way, if a rivet has undergone a double shear at the two places, then we call it as an N2. I do repeat, N1 reflects single shear, N2 reflects double shear. So if I could say this, just take an example of this as a lap joint. As you can see here, I do have one plate here, another plate at the bottom, and I would have a rivet. And if I had a pull at both the sides, so you can see that my rivet has undergone a single shear, right? So this is a shearing of a rivet in a lap joint. In a similar way, if I had a single cover butt joint, if I say a single cover butt joint, you can see this, I do have two plates here and then here. So this is a burn, and I had a single cover. You can see this is a cover plate, which is called a single cover plate. And in order to hold this, I do have two rivets in it. So you can see this, the two rivets undergone a single shear. Again, at one side, I'd have a single shear at here and here. So therefore, the rivet has undergone a single shear in this case again. So if I say in a similar way, if I had a double cover butt joint, now in this way you can see this. I had two plates over here, one here and another one is here, and you can see they had two cover plates at the top and at the bottom. And if you could see at this part of section here and this here, you can clearly visualize that my shear is undergone at two places shear, one at this part and another at this side, another one over here and one over here. So therefore here the rivet has undergone a double shear, not a single shear. You can see here double shear here and here. So this the example of a shearing. Now let's try to understand with cases like how this N1 and N2 plays. As I said that N1 reflects always single shear, N2 reflects double shear. If you could see this whole sketch, I do have a lap joint with two rivets in a lap joint, and always consider the reference as a shear in one pitch length. As you could see here, it is one pitch length. This is one pitch length. In one pitch length, how many rivets we do have, and in this, how many are undergone a single shear? That's what the concern comes in. So if in this case, as you could see here, in this one pitch length, by the top I can say that I do have four rivets inside, where in all, these four rivets, this rivet has undergone half a way of a shear, and here half, and here and half, and here and half. Together, its N1 is 1, and you can see that we don't have any double shear over here, any double shear. So therefore N2 would be 0, as you can see here. N1 is equal to two rivets, 1 and 1, half and half, one rivet, and half and half, another one rivet. So together, two rivets, and where in all N2 is equal to 0. If I come with this sort of joint, where I had three rivets in a row, And if this is a zigzagging arrangement, not a chain arrangement, as you can see, rivets are in zigzagly in form. You can see over here, the zigzag formation of a rivet has been arranged over here. In this, in a one pitch length, again I reference shear to be shear in one pitch length. So this is a one pitch, from here to here is a one pitch. So within this, how many rivets we do have undergone a single shear? That's what it concerns. Half and half, it's a one, and one full rivet to undergo a single shear over here. And again here, in this half a rivet and half a rivet, it's again one. So one, half and half, one, half and half, one, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So therefore, N1 is equal to 3. And we don't have any double shear into this, so surely N2 should be 0. So now coming ahead, this is a condition. It's in a chain arrangement, not a zigzag arrangement. As you can see, the rivets have been arranged in a chain way, chain arrangement. And again, in order to know what is N1 and N2 in this condition, you know that the reference is again the shear in one pitch length. In one pitch length, you can see over here, half and half of a rivet over here, half and half a rivet over here, and half and half a rivet. So together 1, 2, 3. So therefore N1 should be 3. And N2 is 0. We don't have any double shear in this. So in a similar way, if I had one more case where I had a butt joint with a single cover plate, let's see what happened with this. So you can see over here, double butt joint, you can see over the butt joint, and I had a single cover plate over here. But you can see here the arrangement is again zigzag. Now let's see, again the reference would be shear in one pitch length, as you can see over here, the one pitch length of it. So you can clearly concern that at this section, either you take at this part or at that part. So I will be considering that at this part of a plate, where you can see that half of a rivet over here and half of a rivet over here, one rivet over here. So here you can see this from the front view. Do I see that any double shear will be here? So shear there should be in a single shear. So therefore N1 is equal to 2. Or what about N2? N2 should be 0. Right? So now let's go with another sort where we have a chain arrangement. I will be considering again this part of a plate, not that. I can either consider this part of a plate or even with that part of a plate, as your concern. Like I will be here considering one side of a plate, where I can see over here that again the reference would be same similar in shear in one single pitch length. As you can see here, half of a rivet which undergo a single shear way, half of a rivet that undergo a single shear. It's again a single cover plate, and you can see that there's only N1 that may come in. That says single shear that come in existence. So therefore N1 is equal to 1 and N2 is equal to 0. Now further, if I could consider a butt joint with a double cover plate, what happens? You can see here double cover plate, you can see here a double cover plate, and again I do say it's in a chain arrangement. I will consider this part of plate. So you can see over here that whenever I do reference again a one pitch length, this is a shear in one pitch length, you can see here half of a rivet over here, half of a rivet here, and from a front view you can really conclude that there won't be any single shear. My rivet doesn't undergo a single shear here. Surely my rivet will undergo a double shear. Therefore N1 is equal to 0 and N2 is equal to 1. Similar way, if I had this sort of arrangement, if I had two rivets in a row, so therefore you can easily conclude right now. What would be N1? Surely from front view you can see that there won't be any single shear, and from a front view you can conclude that the double shear would be two rivets, half and half of this rivet and half and half. So together two rivets will undergo a double shear. So if I had a butt joint with a double cover plate which are uneven, if you could see a previous one, here you can see that the length of this cover plate, the top cover plate and the bottom cover plate, the length of these plates are same. And if you could see in this, if I had an uneven cover plate, if you could see over here, the top one is a smaller one, the bottom is a bigger one, as vice versa. Even if the top one is a bigger one and the bottom one is a smaller one, from a front view you can see that some rivet will undergo a single shear and some rivet will undergo a double shear. But do kindly take it from a top view whether the arrangement, whole arrangement is as a zigzag or a chain arrangement. In this case it's a zigzag arrangement, and now again the reference is in a one pitch length, you can see here, this rivet which has only two plate across, I can say that this may undergo a single shear, and that plate is of half a rivet over here and half a rivet over here, together one rivet over here, and surely this rivet has undergone a double shear, right? So one shear will be taking us at this point and another shear at this point. So therefore this whole rivet will undergo one rivet will undergo a double shear. So therefore I can easily conclude over here that N1 is 1, right? N2 is 1 again, right? Now further, if I had a chain arrangement, earlier we had been checked with a zigzag arrangement, in this now a chain arrangement, you can see here from a front view, one rivet at this part of section and the 2 rivets have been loaded at this part of section. Where the 1 rivet will undergo only a lap joint here. You can see this. This arrangement, if I could close this part of section, I can clearly conclude this part will undergo a lap joint and this is a butt joint sort of somewhere, right? The top core plate and the bottom core plate. Now here, at this again with a reference as 1 pitch length. So here half of a rivet will undergo here and half of a rivet. So together 1 rivet will undergo a single shear, as you could clearly say that as 1 rivet. And if I say a double rivet, a double shear, you can say half of a rivet over here, half of a rivet, that together 1 and half over here. So together 2 rivet will undergo a double shear. You can see here. So right now, by seeing into this video, you will be quite enough to understand what is this double shear and how does this single shear comes with, whether it's in a lap joint or a butt joint, or if you had a chain arrangement or a zigzag arrangement, butt joint with an equal straps and then a butt joint with an unequal straps. We will use this knowledge in designing the rivets while we use this designing of rivets, where N1 and N2 are very important concern to understand or to come out with work before we design any rivet arrangement. Thank you.